So let him back then. I can't talk. Let me let him into the live room. Hello.
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 Now I can hear them all. Yeah, now we're good. Yeah, we did it.
Now we can hear. It was weird.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you for a second.
Yeah, like all of a sudden the music hit and then just black.
Damn
so
it.
we are here.
I blame
Thank you
Freddie
for having
Mercury.
us on, first-time streamers. So let's have some fun with this. And congratulations on crushing the goal too, Nick.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely amazing.
Very, very much.
Glad to be a part of this too.
Thank you guys. You guys are officially the last guest for the 2020 live stream for The Cure. So let's take a moment. Everybody go around and introduce all of yourselves because you guys do like a fuck ton of shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
You
true.
guys could just all introduce yourselves and what it is that you guys do.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start. My name is Ken. I'm the host of the ODPH podcast, better known as the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. And each week we talk parlay of topics, sports, music, movies, TV, comics, and more. And that's what we do.
Yeah, my name is Rich. I am the host of the Three Fat Nerds podcast. We also have a wrestling show that is also on our channel. We do both every week. Anywhere you can find podcasts by Three Fat Nerds or 8122productions.com for all information.
And hello, everybody out there in Cyberland. My name is Tom. I am the Off the Cuff Gamer. You can find me at youtube.com/offthecuffgaming. I feature games every single week. I play through the story, and when I'm playing through, you get an honest, real reaction, uncut, unedited, uncensored, right in your face.
Excellent. And gentlemen, welcome, as I said, to the live stream for The Cure. And we've got some fun stuff planned. We've got some fun stuff surrounding video game movies. Yeah?
And we lost audio.
We lost the audio again.
Check,
I'm
check,
not sure
sound
what is
check.
going on here.
I can hear him. I can hear him. I can hear myself, but I can't hear either you or Dan.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Isn't that something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Science.
for some reason the audio went out again. Maybe we
That's-
could all hold up
Yeah.
plaques or signs and
Everything's plugged in.
communicate with
Nothing was touched.
with whatever.
Everything was good, and then it went. Well,
Let me try to switch over to the green. Well, you guys can't hear me.
Oh, can we do this whole stream with charades?
Yes.
At this stage, I mean,
yes,
maybe.
yeah, maybe charades. Yeah,
Yes.
there you go, yeah.
All right. So yeah, hang on one sec, guys. Hang on. Well, they can't hear me. I don't know why I'm talking
See,
to
this
them.
is why my channel's always unedited and unscripted because I don't have to worry about this.
Well, like I say,
stuff.
we're first-time streamers on this, but still,
Yes.
it's just very odd because we hear and then
And
gone.
then it goes.
Yes. But oh,
There
now
you
now
go.
you're back.
There we go.
So can you guys hear me in the green room?
I can hear you
We
right
can hear
now.
you in the live room.
We can hear you
Oh.
right now.
If you're talking, I can hear you now. If you're switched over to green room audio, we
if
can
this
hear
is
you.
the case.
If that's what it is, I don't know, but we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so I have the microphone muted in the green room, but I have the microphone unmuted in the live room. So I'm going to stay over there, and then if for whatever reason you guys cut out again, I'm just going to unmute that microphone and see if you guys can hear me there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds
Yeah,
good.
Sounds good. Well,
Perfect.
we can hear you now. All the technical difficulties we could ask for.
Figure if it's got to be, at the end of the show, we got to absolutely make a mess of it. So
God damn it. But gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the live stream for The Cure. We've got some fun stuff planned, talking about video games and video game movies specifically. So whoever wants to kick off what we're going to be doing.
all right, well, we'll let the gamer in the room kick us off with the worst video game films. So, Tom?
Oh, that would be me.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
yeah,
thought
so
you
the
were
whole
talking about
idea
me.
is with everybody here, since we've got movie guy and comic book guy and video game guy, we decided to take the love of all the genres, put them together, and that's why we're talking about video game movies, the worst video game movies. So we're gonna do it in the top worst 5 format. We're all gonna say our 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and so that way we're not stealing anybody else's thunder. And I'm gonna start off with Street Fighter as number 5 worst. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Jean-Claude Van Damme is
okay,
okay
okay.
in my book. I'm gonna go for the terrible quote-unquote sequel / reboot / hey, did you get that girl from Smallville?
Yeah, that's right. That had Kristen Crook in it, didn't it? Oh my
Yes,
God.
it did. And then the
Oh.
other hard pill to swallow, if you remember, her master, her sensei in that was the actor Robin Shou, who you saw as Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat series.
Wow.
Yeah. Deep dived on that.
So that's my number 5 for worst video game movie.
All right, well, I guess I'll go with my number 5. And my number 5, similar, but I did not give Jean-Claude Van Damme the pass, so it's just Street Fighter. It's the first one. It's just, I don't know. Although Raul Julia is the man, and it was his last role.
Hell
It was
yeah.
just a tough watch. Definitely with all the retconning of what they wanted to do with everybody in that movie, I just couldn't stay into it. So, yeah, it's my number 5.
That was also my number 5 too. And I'm sorry, Jean-Claude Van Damme doing Jean-Claude Van Damme things usually is a win, for that time period, but this one was just an absolute train wreck. And especially Raul Julia for his last role, absolutely was overacting this one completely. Was given the one-liners though, of me coming to your village was the greatest moment of your life. For me, it was Tuesday.
Oh,
Like,
that
doing
line's
kind of
so
cheeseball
good.
stuff.
It's
I mean,
so good.
it's just pure 90s mess, but still, I mean, just enough to come in at number 5.
Well, even though I disagree with them as far as, well, I agree with the Street Fighter, I still have no problem going up that river and kicking Bison's ass. Oh, jeez. No, they want us to go home.
Oh my
I'll
god.
kick his ass. So going back around, we're gonna go to number 4. Now I have to apologize to the other half of the Ocho Duro pads. Padawan J, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to say it's one of my favorite video game franchises, the Ratchet and Clank movie. And
He
I
is
also
so pissed at you
apologize
about that.
to my wife because I drug her out to go and see this movie. Now, I've always been a longtime fan of the Ratchet and Clank franchise on every single PlayStation format possible. All I wanted to do was wait for the whole movie for the Rhino weapon to show up to rip you a new one. And it was in the last 5 minutes. And, if they were going to try and reboot the whole franchise using this movie as the catalyst, they did it all sorts of wrong. It was beautiful. James Arnold Taylor did a wonderful job, doing the voice of Ratchet. He does a great Obi-Wan on Clone Wars, but it's his natural voice for Ratchet, and it just didn't stick for me.
Yeah, I have a different one, of course. My number 4 is actually going to be the Super Mario Brothers movie. No matter how
dear
much Bob
God in
Hoskins
heaven.
can join in, it's just bad. It's just bad. John Leguizamo can't even save that movie.
Oh.
My
I think
co-host
we
is
might
ready
have
to
the
murder
same
you.
list.
Really, we have the same list? Because that was your number 4.
Yeah, because all right, I don't even understand what that was supposed to be. If it's supposed to be a video game parody or whatever, but the fact you got Dennis Hopper running around talking about fungus for an hour and plus minutes, the entire film, and especially they're on what, a $40 million budget, or that's how much they made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just absolutely all over the place. Especially, it's a simple game. Why are we trying to make this way over the top? And especially that was the real first video game film too.
It really was. Funny story about that. I did meet Dennis Hopper years later.
Did you ask him about this role?
I wanted a decent tip at my table, and I said, "Hey, Papa Joe," and I went for the Waterworld reference.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
bring it
much to our very, very own god of podcasting himself, Loy Sauce.
People want the sauce.
That guy. Thank you so much. $100 donation in honor of Theodore F. Smith. Thank you so much, Loy Sauce.
Thank
Love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Kick Gerald in the dick for me when you see him.
So for me, my number 3 is on these gentlemen's coattails. I'm actually going to say the Super Mario Brothers movie, just because it's for me, it's a little more worse. I mean, we still have 2 more to go, but the idea of what the hell was Yoshi? Why did we have to do 2 dimensions?
Oh,
It was it. Oh.
That's an
I
easy
think
way to
the
describe it.
The only good thing about that movie was the end.
The end.
When the credits
The
hit.
credits.
when the credits started.
the
Yeah.
credits hit,
Oh, God. That movie is
Hey.
excruciating.
You got to give it credit. It was in focus. Anyways, my number 3 movie, it was in focus also, but it was not better. And it is an appearance by The Rock, even, because it's Doom.
Wow.
So much work you could do with a Doom movie, and that's the best we got was, that craptastic film.
I couldn't even pull
That,
myself to watch that.
No,
I like the fact they even tried doing that as a game, and let alone it was that.
yeah. And I've never watched the sequel that is on Netflix just because, no.
There's a sequel.
I didn't even know there was a
There's
sequel.
a sequel on Netflix currently. So sorry about that, but
goodness.
Doom is my number 3.
That is awful. So my number 3 is a sequel, and it is the Mortal Kombat Annihilation sequel. Yeah, exactly. Nick.
I feel
where do
sick.
Don't worry, it's coming back in someone else's list.
Oh yeah, but let alone the first one, maybe you could say was passable. Maybe I'll stretch maybe, but this one it was like, where are we even going? Underground tunnels, whatever the fight scenes. I mean, the CGI in that. I've seen music videos better, and it's just all over the damn place. And it like, where do you even go? Just no plot, no nothing, and yeah. Killed the franchise.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was horrible.
But Machinima did have a really good try to do a comeback by doing their whole Mortal Kombat series on their channel as well. You can actually pick it up now at like Walmart in the $5 bin. The whole, I think they did 8 hours, like a TV series, willingly, and it wasn't that bad.
You're a braver man than I. This killed it for me.
Well, again, Machinima has done some good stuff, and more often it's 50-50 with them. So my number 2 actually is going off that. It's Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I do believe that for me, the original Mortal Kombat was one of the better video game movies, especially considering the time where we were. Video games trying to do the transition into the mass media. It was a big thing. I think they did it well. They got a lot of great martial artists to come in. I mean, they had world record holding, champions who were Scorpion and Reptile. Yes, Reptile CGI needed some work, but when you're talking about what they tried to do of shoving Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 into that Annihilation movie, it was terrible. The acting by, I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Shao Kahn was so I'm a big guy. I can say these words. This is it. Hi, I will kill you, Liu Kang.
Oh my
We're
god!
not even gonna. And then the whole animality, like that's shit CGI. If I ever saw it, when Jack said, "Man, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at." I don't know if he was talking about the production of the movie or what the hell was going on screen.
He's probably talking to the director.
So that I think it was its own fourth wall break that he didn't intentionally do.
Yeah,
it's a rough watch.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My number 2, changing it up though. My number 2 is actually Alone in the Dark. Never has there been a time where you could probably have made from the source material. You could have probably made at least a really good movie, and it just underscored on everything. It was confusing. It didn't look good. You get to the end and you're just like, and that's how this ends. Mm-hmm. This is the end of the movie. We just watched, basically this whole time, and this is what we get. This is our reward. Yeah, no. Alone in the Dark is my number 2. There's only one movie worse in my opinion, but we'll get to that in a second. What's your number 2, Ken?
Oh, my number 2 is in its 90s gold, Double Dragon. The ultimate. What the fuck was this? Because you take the simple concept, it's the two brothers fighting the evil crime boss, and we're just now adding all this mystic element to it. And there's what the big bad was supposed to be Balrog, and they wind up turning him into a steroided toxic Avenger. And it's just so all over the place of like what it was supposed to be. And even like Robert Patrick couldn't even save this.
Yeah.
And absolutely was trying to cheese it up. But I think he was like looking for a way out after he signed up for this, because it was just so like I just don't even get how you do it. It was like you in one scene, because it was supposed to be the future in like New Los Angeles in 2007, and they're fueling cars by paper. Like it was just so out there. It was like, what? How is this even resembling a game?
So the only 2 good things in that movie, Alyssa Milano.
Yeah. No. Did you see? By the way, what was she wearing?
I'm blocking this out for a certain reason. That was about it.
What was she wearing?
That green ringer shirt.
She had those weird like cutoff pants that had, or they were shorts and they had pants underneath them. It was a strange.
I'm sorry, you're saying
outfit.
something. I'm still thinking of Alyssa Milano.
No, she couldn't even say that.
The butch haircut didn't help, but but the bleach blonde,
there was nothing savable about this.
There's nothing.
Yeah, and then wasn't the guy who played a Bobo?
That's the guy's name.
It was a Bobo. He was also the
Toxic
kid who played
Avenger. Yes,
Gary on the Weird Science USA TV series.
Yeah,
they steroided him out. Oh boy.
Yeah, that was like steroids on a whole different level.
Oh, God.
I mean, seriously, he looked like a walking
He looked
pile
like
of shit.
he looked like a muscled out version of what's his name from Big Trouble in Little China before he blew up.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I didn't understand they were trying to be like copying the video game, but how you even like what game is that?
No, it was bad. I mean, the only good thing that came out of Double Dragon after that fact was the UPN cartoon series. Had a great theme song and everything, but that's a whole different podcast. So my number one, believe it or not, is the Double Dragon movie for all the reasons that we've talked about already.
I was gonna say, let me just jump in. That's also my number one.
Yes.
I'd seen in the chat earlier when we were mentioning some other ones. They were like Double Dragon. No, Double Dragon's number one. It's the
Yeah.
worst. So I just might as well piggyback on yours because we just have been talking about it. here.
Again, still no problem with Alyssa Milano right about here. Other than that, come on. I mean, I was telling these guys we had a little pregame lunch here. I remember I spent $6 on that movie on pay-per-view when I was a kid to watch it because my dad refused to take me to the
Wow, I love it.
You know?
Oh my god.
There I was watching it on my big, huge console box TV, sitting in the middle of the living room in Philadelphia, watching Double Dragon.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah. And then we went on. I mean, the only saving, it had Scott Wolf.
I don't even know if that was saving.
That's not
But
saving. That was like throwing an anchor in that
But
ocean.
it had Robert Patrick in it, like, and he
Yeah.
fresh off of some T2 action. So you figure that you can't get a better villain, and then
I mean, it had Mark Dacascos, who only became really popular 30 years later.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I guess there's a silver lining for him. At least that wasn't his legacy. At least he had a better legacy than Double Dragon. Also, if you want to do yourself, you can actually find the incomplete movie on YouTube for free.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's ever stricken it down.
Why?
And also, well, I wonder why, because nobody's watching it. Also, if you don't want to put yourself through that, just watch the trailer. The trailer tells you everything. By the way, they power the city by kids riding bicycles. I don't know if you remember that part of it. That's part of
I just remember the papers and the cars.
that's part of how they power the give electricity, because that's how Alyssa Milano helps them out, is she stops them from pedaling, so the city's power goes down a little bit, so they're able to infiltrate the last part. It's so bad. And the only reason I remember part of this is like that's how bad this movie is it's seared into my head. Like either really good movies are seared in or really bad ones. Double Dragons. I honestly haven't seen this movie in probably 20 years, and I'm telling you, it's just seared there. It lives there forever.
I tried doing a rewatch. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I had to turn it off.
You're
I
braver
think
than
I watched it one time when I was on watch. That was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were stuck on base, and that was it. I was that bored, and yeah, pizza and
Yeah, I don't. My number one though was Alone in the Dark.
Such a bad movie.
Oh yeah, but the director Uwe Boll, he has like the track record for bad video game movies. Blood Rain, House of the Dead, In the Name of the King. His track record goes on, but this is the creme de la creme of his dumpster fire.
I actually know who likes In the Name of the King.
Really?
I married her.
Oh.
Okay, so Mrs. Tom, I'm not apologizing.
Yeah. I've talked about this before, but Uwe Boll, and we're going to use the podcast term allegedly. Allegedly, the reason why he makes such historically bad movies is because the German government at the time was paying a ton of money to do production on films over there. So all the bombs that he made out in cash from the government to film films there.
So he pulled a Leo Bloom. He did a producers.
Yeah, so that's basically where it was. His heart was never in the game. So if you're not attached to the source material, you're not going to probably do the best job possible. So it's that's where that really falls in. So
And that definitely showed here. 'cause-
although I am criticizing him and he does offer critics to come box him, I will take that offer anytime he wants to fly me to Germany. Just going to throw that out there. I will box Uwe Boll. Why the fuck not?
all right, I think that'll be a better film than this because
Probably.
I couldn't even figure
Oh
out what
my
was going
God.
on. Like it was supposed to be like the detective mystery, but everything with like the dialogue was just atrocious.
Oh yeah.
Was Steven Dorff? I didn't even know what he was doing in the film.
Yeah.
He was just kind of hanging out.
By the way, I know Ken listened to this, and I'll shameless plug this for our patrons, patreon.com/8122 productions. We actually have a I Love Movie show with our movie guy, Ron. And he covered second episode. It was the second episode. He covered Alone in the Dark. And that was enough of coverage. I didn't rewatch it. I just was there in the room and hearing him recover it. I was like, oof, glad I never rewatched it.
Yeah, he's a braver soul than I, because
Yes.
yeah, this one's just bad. Nick, do you have a favorite, or dare I say, what is your worst video game film of all time?
I gotta drop some love for Wonder Soul over in the chat because there's no Resident Evils, no Prince of Persia or anything. I would probably, and it's only because I absolutely adore the Resident Evil series so much that I take your pick of literally Resident Evil 4 through 6, probably 5, just because 5 was the one that they were like, what Resident Evil characters haven't we used in a movie yet? Let's throw a Leon in there. Let's throw a Barry in there. Contextually for no reason. They're just these other characters we're going to chuck in the movie. And they're so poorly edited and so poorly shot. There's like 20 cuts a second in every action sequence. It's like, I'm going to like... pulling up and aiming a gun is like 14 different camera cuts. It's nauseating to watch. It's got. I will say Resident Evil 5 just to put one of those pieces of shit at the top of the mountain where it belongs. Because oh my god,
Big shout out there to Wonder Soul. He's one of our biggest cheerleaders for everybody out there who's a content creator. We really love everything that he does.
Yeah, no, I couldn't put Prince of Persia on because I actually didn't see it, so I don't want to try to figure. No, but I couldn't pull it. Like, I'm sorry, no,
I'm just gonna say the field is so deep.
Yeah.
Of bad movies. It would have been harder to come up with a list of the top 5 best movies because there would have been a lot more controversy. I mean, come on, the field is so deep. Like you said, you could have listed numerous amounts of Resident Evil movies. You know, Prince of Persia could have been in there easily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Assassin's Creed movie wasn't very good either. You know, and then you have the made for TV and all the, you know, so like the list. But I mean, let's be honest, Double Dragon is probably the lowest cinematic form you could go in any movie. I mean, Alone in the Dark is
yeah, it's up there. It's like
that
1A,
too, so
1B with me, but I gave the slight edge to Alone in the Dark because at least like Double Dragon, I actually kind of had an idea something was going on. Alone in the Dark, I was lost.
Double Dragon's
so
that
I know
kind
we
of.
want to change this. Oh,
Yeah, Double Dragon's that kind of. I mean, and that's what Hollywood always wants to do with video game movies. And Super Mario Brothers is another one where it takes something simple and then it's like you guys mentioned it. They throw the mystical elements into it. There's kids riding bicycles and powering things, and it's like, but it's Double Dragon is very simple. It's the crime boss, the gang kidnaps the girl. They got to fight through a whole bunch of guys to get to her. That should be an absolute like 90-minute slugfest. Like you could make this movie like in the mid 80s with like a big burly action star and make it like this amazing just action masterpiece. But you know, they have to try to overcomplicate things because Hollywood still, even today, they just don't get video games. And
Could you imagine Dolph Lundgren as a Bobo?
Now I need to see that.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, he kind of played that character in Expendables, what, 3? Well, how does this work? How does this work?
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
So on the flip to it, we're gonna do a little fan casting kind of deal. We're gonna talk about video games that should be made into movies, and I know we've really ran the whole field around here. So my number 5, all right, is going to be and the two my 4 and 5 can be kind of connected because they're from the same company. But my number 5 is Bayonetta. I would love to get a Bayonetta prequel movie.
Okay.
Fair enough.
You know?
If I have to rate a number 5, my number 5 is because I think it would be harder to do live action, but you never know nowadays. Is actually, and it's also because I'm a huge fan, Mega Man.
That'll come back up on my list.
I was gonna say it's coming back up on your list. I'm a huge Mega Man fan. The reason I put it at 5 and not higher was because logistically I'm trying to figure out how this works. But yeah, live action a Mega Man movie would be great. I've just been a huge fan.
And I think we talked about that in our chat.
Yeah.
There was a fan film done in like 2010.
Yeah,
it was terrible. But
yeah,
still,
I'm
I give
talking
him
about
credit.
a real budgeted movie. I would like to see Mega Man.
My number 5 was the Metal Gear series because it's just pretty much Solid Snake looking for Metal Gear and nowhere what time frame you want to do it. And in fact, put Chris Hemsworth in there because if you've seen Extraction on Netflix, that's pretty much what the movie would be.
Yep.
Just a little more scientific involved.
I would go with his younger brother though.
Yeah, you could see too because
I
he's
could
done
see
the
him.
Expendables.
His facial structure actually, looks a little bit more like Snake.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is like, who would we cast for some of these roles? Like
Yeah.
Mega Man would be.
Mega Man's a tough one. You got to get a babyface actor.
I was thinking maybe this is gonna show my Disney-esque side, but like Boo Boo Stewart.
Yeah,
He was in
Okay.
The Descendants. He's also been my fan cast person. If they ever followed through with the Power Ranger series, he would have made a great Tommy from the 2017 movie. So number 4, like going in the same line of Bayonetta, would be Devil May Cry.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good one. That's a good one.
and the best part is you could actually, as long as we skip the second game, like we can really glance over that. If you did Devil May Cry 1, 3, 4, and 5, and the best part is Johnny Young Bosch, who voices Nero, is an amazing martial artist. And those of you who are old old Power Rangers fans, he was the Atom, the second Black Power Ranger, the first Green Turbo Ranger, and the Green Zeo Ranger 4. I mean, he could literally do his own stunts. That's, he's and any of you anime fans, you should know his name already. But I think he would make an unbelievable version of Virgil. Who we get to play Dante is a very different story. And, other characters like Lady and Amy, you have to find, that's where the disconnect is in these video game movies, because we're not finding, a lot of people are going to say, well, that doesn't look like the person who you see on screen. At what point do we get the fan base to say, hey, this is what we got, go with it and roll with it? Because I mean, it's like the Sonic movie. Sonic movie was great for what it was. Sega listened, they went back, they retooled everything. I went out and spent money to go see Sonic because they did it right. And that's where a lot of these new production companies, when they do make these movies, have to pay attention to the source material as best as they possibly can.
Still
My
baffles
number 4,
me
why it's so
that
low on- oh, sorry, Nick.
yeah,
Oh,
I was just going to say it still baffles me that Sega had a hand in producing that film, and then yet when they took back, like whoever came up with that initial design, took it, and all those producers, everybody at Sega had to have looked at it, and they had to have given it an approval at some point. And then, like, why ever thought that would work or would be a good idea? Why?
Can we get a Snyder cut of the original Sonic? I mean,
I just want to point this out, though, about the whole thing with Sega. Anybody who had any questions about that, if you're a wrestling fan and you try to play WWE 2K20 this year, that answers all the questions. Sometimes things get through A&R over there, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not exactly
Not
cut
pretty.
and dry,
Yeah.
unfortunately. With my number 4, I this is lower on the list, although I would like to see it as a movie because I do realize that it is a show on Netflix and I enjoy the show, but it is animated, and that of course is Castlevania. I think that would be an awesome movie to see in a live action cinematic form.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just put it a little lower on my list. It would be higher because obviously the show is so good. I do enjoy the show. But I would love to see that on the big screen. And listen, you could cast, like in that movie, talk about casting, the world is your oyster.
oh yeah,
Like you could cast literally anybody for some.
you can
most of those
cast some of the
roles.
voice actors from the show
Oh, yeah.
in their live action.
Oh,
counterparts.
that show has an amazing list of amazing roster. Sorry, behind it. But even if you wanted to go a step further and enlist some Hollywood A actors, that is the kind of movie where you could see somebody, like off the top of my head, I would maybe cast what's his name, Channing Tatum. You
Yep.
could cast him in one of the babyface roles because look at him. I mean, the guy. It would be a fitting role. So that movie casts itself.
Yeah,
It would be easy
he could
cast.
play as Simon Belmont.
And I would love to see that. And I would dare say that you might even push the envelope, make that an R-rated film, just because I think the content is so good.
I could always see Ryan Reynolds playing Simon Belmont. I don't know why, but I could just kind of see him doing it,
Yeah,
especially if you
yeah.
do like the 80s version where I know, like, throwing back to the cartoon of Captain N.
Yeah.
And
What
where
do you mean?
Exactly. Like, who else could ham it up like that? I mean, he does it on Deadpool in his sleep. So I think that would be perfect casting.
No, I like I said, that's an easy cast film because you could put anybody in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My number 4, I went to the Ninja Gaiden series.
Oh,
Taking it back
Ooh.
to the story of Ryu Hayabusa and his, simple revenge story turns into this global mystic martial arts film. Could definitely see him going a lot of different places with it, and especially like we really haven't seen a really good kung fu movie in like a really long time to really get the push. And I could see Simeon Liu, who is going to be playing Shang-Chi,
Yep. Oh man,
as him.
Simu's so good. Have you ever watched him on Kim's Convenience?
Yes,
Freaking hilarious show.
right. So I mean, they can do so many different elements with the character too. And like I said, I see him perfectly as Ryu.
Now, with your Ninja Gaiden, would we be talking more the NES version or the PlayStation 2 version? Because I was more of a fan of that huge movie kind of feel and the grind that you got with the PlayStation version. It felt like a more fleshed out story than just run, jump, flip.
Yeah,
Ninja style.
I'm thinking like the more of the Xbox, which I think is the same version.
Yeah, you're talking the black version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one would really light up the screen.
So I'm gonna, on the spot, change up here. based on what we were all saying. So my number 2 is going to be the Mega Man franchise. So big shout out to my buddy Rob Man, who is my mega brother from another mother up in Canada. The Mega Man franchise has long been a game that is close to my heart, almost to the point that I've almost got the arm cannon tattooed on my arm at one point in my early 20s, and I didn't make that choice. But Mega Man, the whole franchise, not counting Battle Network, Star Force, or any of that, literally runs over 300 years almost, between the classic franchise to the X franchise to the Z franchise to the Zero franchise to the ZX franchise. There is tons of stories to be able to write on that, as long as they skip the Mega Man X4 cutscene of Zero going, "What am I fighting for?" It is an amazing game series. The hard part would be trying to do games like Mega Man. If you did one of the classic franchise, if you did Mega Man 1, Mega Man 3, Mega Man 5 and 6, go to 8, and then come back at 10, you could do the classics, because those have the most cohesive storylines that you could flow through. Going to the X series, X stands alone as itself. Magma Dragoon could be so big that he could get his own backstory and a whole side prequel Blu-ray exclusive. Then when you get into the Zero series, how he was rebuilt, and how it's, hardcore gamers still consider one of the hardest games out there to this day. It has a real good redemption story, and trying to realize who's oneself is, and how real am I. And then the ZX series, just to see how civilization has changed. I could go on forever about just the Mega Man franchise in general as an unbelievable movie series. I could see an easy 7 movies out of it.
Wow.
Right, good. So we're on number 2 already. Wow, that's crazy. For number 2, because I always think that it was it lends itself, and I know you said it earlier, and I know there's a series that's out there for Metal Gear Solid, but I really think a live action Metal Gear Solid, I mean, that is geared to be a movie. I mean, you don't have to really do much script writing. Just take a look at the story that's already there and the cutscenes, and you could pretty much make a movie. I know some people have pieced together the cutscenes online, and it kind of shows you the little bit of a movie that it is. So, I mean, in theory, I mean, it lends itself. I think that movie is just ready to go, so that's why I would pick it. And there's just so many great choices. Another one of those that's an easy to cast movie, because you just have to, you just insert A-list celebrity here, and you have a cast.
Yep,
fair enough. Next on my list is God of War. I think that series of Kratos just going through, taking on every single Greek mythical god he can do, and just make it completely bananas action. Put The Rock in it. Let him go. Give him something away from the Fast and Furious, genre, shall we say? Because we all know that's going to end up in space. Let him go crazy with this one. That's my pick.
All right, you're up, Tom.
All right, so my number 1 is actually your number 2. Is God of War. It has an unbelievable story. I mean, you go through every single game. This is one of those ones where you could even start the film off in the new PlayStation 4 version, do a little bit of that, and then pull a Boondock Saints and go back to the first God of War game as it was. I mean, I have a funny story about God of War 2. When it just came out, my wife had just left me. Number 1. Number 2. Hi, honey. I love you. But when number 1 had left me, I used it as a sad excuse. I was home. I was bummed all night. I was depressed. To be honest, I actually played God of War 2 for 13 hours straight. But God of War would lend itself to be a great franchise. Other things about it is that if you did get somebody like Lionsgate behind it, because I think they really do those fantastic, fantasy movies so well. Little cheese to it, and I'm okay with that. As long as you could get Christopher Judge, if you remember him, he was Teal'c from the Stargate series, and T.C. Carson.
Got a $10 donation from the Real Brick Tamland. Said, hello, Ken. Hello, Mike. And $10 donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So going on about, get Christopher Judge to come in and do a cameo. On top of it, if we can get T.C. Carson to also, who did the voice. They both did the voice of Kratos at some point. The question is again, it's trying to take what's on the screen and take it to the big screen. Who would you cast as Kratos for that? Because he's a very distinctive look. How do you that's where my hard part is. But I could definitely see, if we did the God of War franchise as movies, 3, maybe 4 out of it.
Okay.
Mine is because I'm let's be honest, I am a super huge Nintendo fan, so my number one is Metroid. I'm a
I
huge
didn't
fan of
think of that.
Metroid. I love the game. It has a great story. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, and when you're talking about all out, I can't believe it hasn't been gobbled up yet because of the when everybody's looking for something that has like inclusion. I mean, you have one of the greatest female heroes of all time.
Wait,
in
Samus
that
is a
game.
woman?
Oh, jeez. One of the greatest female heroes of all time in a game. I think that would be great for the screen. I think that you could have a kick-ass. It's all over the place. I mean, you have aliens, you have robots, you have mecha armor, you have shooting. Like that is a big budget action movie just waiting to be made. Like I said, and there's a story there.
Now, on that, would you do Nintendo and Super Nintendo versions, or would you go full Prime on that and do that whole series?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I can see going either way. If you wanted a long franchise, you go Prime, but I think I would start with the backstory. Or could you start with the Prime and then use the other as a backstory?
Kind of like how I said. With
Yeah,
God of War
how to go
goes.
flip all the other way
Yeah.
around. Yeah, you could do something like that. I think that once again, there's a lot of material there, and it really does lend itself to being a movie. I mean, let's think about it. Big budget action movie in space. I mean, you can't top that.
It's gonna be Fast and Furious 10.
I think it would be better than Fast and Furious 10.
I agree
Just wanna
too.
throw that out
I
there.
agree too. Like I said, I'm still convinced that franchise is going there. So my number one, I think Nick will be very happy with this pick. Injustice Snyderverse.
I love you so much. Marry me right
I'm
now.
telling you.
I love you
This
so
is what I
much.
think. I'm a huge Man of Steel fan. I did not like Batman vs Superman because I think they tried cramming too many stories.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So that's my one drawback with this. But give Zack Snyder the Injustice franchise. Are you familiar with that,
Oh yeah,
Nick?
love
Yeah.
it.
Give him that series and let him run crazy with it. You get the real Civil War that we've all wanted to see from DC. You know Snyder wouldn't pull any punches.
Be honest
And
with
you
me. Be honest with me. Are you saying that just because you want to watch Henry Cavill rip Jared Leto's heart out in the opening of the movie?
I will be there opening day, camped to see that. Leto's Joker is not my Joker.
I'll bring snacks.
Yes, like
Yes.
I just want to see that all retconned and see Henry Cavill just go bananas. Him versus Ben Affleck. You can recast Affleck in it too. I have no issue with him being Batman.
Dude, I am so down for this. I need this to happen now. Please?
Yeah.
Please?
Like the minute I heard that they were reactivating the Snyder Cut for Justice League, which like I'm excited to see it and what it's actually gonna be. But this one I think would be much better and just give him creative freedom, so he won't interfere with Matt Reeves' Batman, which is gonna be awesome. Just let him go crazy with this as franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be God. Why do I have no clout in Hollywood? If only.
I don't know. I'm hearing they're trying to get Affleck to come back, so fingers crossed something has happened.
I would
Right
hope
here, this
so,
be
but
perfect.
I mean, man, an Injustice movie would be legitimately a dream because I love Superman's by far my favorite superhero. Like I absolutely love and adore Superman, but I really, and that's why I love Snyder's take on the character because he's not just a Boy Scout. Like they don't just make him like he has human problems, he has human issues and everything like that. But I would love to see, like, I loved Smallville. Like I loved watching Smallville even when it came on, and I loved those silly one-off stories whenever Red Kryptonite would come in and Clark would go apeshit and go, do whatever. Like give us one movie with or even like Injustice 2, like the way that Injustice 2 ends, with like Superman getting out and like enslaving Batman, like, well, the Superman ending anyway. Like, dude,
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah, you could make easy 3. I know the third one's coming out next May if it's still on time, and yeah, let it roll. Trilogy right there. Give it to Snyder. Let him go crazy with it.
I love you. All other picks are now irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell are we doing here?
Thank you.
Oh.
So, what would be your movie then, Nick? What video game would you want aside from what we've picked?
I mean, there's only one franchise that I want to see done absolute and pure justice on the big screen, and that's Final Fantasy. Just some kind of Final Fantasy game. Not the Spirits Within, even though I'm a huge defender of it. I'm mad at it because
I was paying attention when you guys were talking about that earlier during the streams.
it bankrupted Square, and that's why we have Squeenix now.
Squeenix,
Thank you very much. But just like so many of those games have such epic, just sweeping, grand stories. I mean, it's probably too much to ask to have any of them in a film format or anything like that, unless it's going to be a film series. But you could probably do, like, you could take like one game, like a Final Fantasy VII or a Final Fantasy VI or something like that, and you could do like an HBO series, like 6 to 8 seasons, knock it out of the park like fucking nothing. It'd be great.
HBO is doing really good with say like his Dark Materials right now. I could see them taking, if they wanted to go a little more fantasy with that. Maybe how are you? I'm looking at you, kind of. I could see them doing, say, Final Fantasy 9. I think would be easy enough that the casual viewer could watch. It's
9 would have all the humor
heavy.
too. 9 would have a lot of humor added into it as well. That would
Exactly.
really play well with a lot of audiences that maybe aren't as familiar with it. Steiner alone, just even when I play the game still, is just I die laughing whenever he freaking jumps up and down, clanking his armor like an idiot.
Yep.
Good, great picks though. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many out there that you could also choose. One of the other ones that I would have is like an honorable mention, probably be Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout's
Fallout
getting
has
a lot of love in
built-in
the chat.
story. Yeah, but Fallout would have it's got a more built-in story. I feel like you don't have to do too much to that. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously Gears of War, I think would also be another one if you want over the top action. Because I mean, let's be honest, that's what the movie you would be getting, and there's a place for it. There's definitely a place in Hollywood for that big action film, and that would definitely fill that thirst. I mean, do you guys have any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had GTA by Tarantino.
Oh,
Oh my god!
And could you imagine Sam Jackson just coming back for like a cameo, going, "Motherfucker"?
Yep. It writes itself.
I don't know, man, because I put so much into this. What other game could possibly? I don't know. A Boy and His Blob. Screw it. If you're an old Nintendo fan, there you go. We'll say A Boy and His Blob.
So I
Wow.
was gonna say, you know what I was thinking, but I mean, obviously there's lawsuit and everything involved currently with it. How about we get the Friday the 13th, the video game for NES version of Friday the 13th movie? That's also a shout out for the Horror Zone 607.
Wow.
So just purple mask Jason
Yep.
wreaking havoc on random camp counselors. I thought that would be interesting. I don't know if you could do a separate movie. It'd kind of be the same logic as behind the franchise, but it'd be kind of interesting to see that particular Jason. Even if you want to have some fun, make the killer CGI 8-bit.
or make Lawnmower Man in a video game.
Oh yeah, you could do
Oh, that could be something.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. What movie never got a video game or a good video game
Right.
that you should get? You know, Lawnmower Man would it lends itself to a video game. It wasn't. I don't necessarily think it was a great movie, but it lended itself to be a video game.
Yep.
And I know they made a really crappy version of it into a
Did.
video game, but that could make a really good video game if you really did that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the Matrix video games. Like they should have been so much better than what they were.
Yeah.
I mean, it just lends itself. Like there's always that share when you're like, hey, you know, we can lend ourselves to like where you're supposed to be in the world, and then it just doesn't go that direction.
Yeah, I mean the one video game that they did have Jada Pinkett in was a nice filler between the movies, and it
Yes.
was canon as well. So that was a nice thing, but again, that wasn't a very good.
No.
Yeah, we could do a whole other podcast just on video game movie tie-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say that for another time.
Or another live stream for The Cure Part 5.
Exactly, because yeah, oh my god, I don't even know how we would possibly top this next year. I don't even want to think about it right now. I can't
We
even
got your back.
imagine. I mentioned it yesterday when we were talking to those nerds over there as well, but I'm telling you, and I said it as a joke, but then as I thought about it, I was like, that's actually not a bad idea. But you could do a PUBG movie. I hate PUBG so much, but my God in heaven, yes, give me that thumbs down, Dan. I love you. But you just have a dude, like the movie opens with a dude like waking up on a plane. Like, I know you'd have a lot of similarities with people who were throwing out Battle Royale and all sorts of other different things. And yeah, it'd have a lot of similarities, but you could just have an action slugfest for like an hour and a half. You wake up on the plane, like that's where the movie starts, drops out, and then you're making your way across this like ruined landscape, like finding all sorts of random stuff. People are shooting at you and whatever. It'd be great.
Yeah. You can imagine it there because you could actually cast everybody. You could
Yeah.
literally in that movie cast it because it's just it's like a modern Expendables where you could literally have so you could have The Rock, you could have
Hemsworth.
Terry
Hemsworth.
Crews, Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
probably put in Big Dave Batista. Why not? He's always great in movies. There's a
Batista.
lot of guys. Marky Mark, get him involved somehow.
Yeah.
Get that star power. It'd be an interesting movie. That's for sure. I
Definitely would
mean,
be.
I wasn't a huge fan of the game either. I'm with you on that, but
Or have
it'd be
all,
an interesting movie.
all three Chris's on the screen at the same time fighting each other.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh.
But we also have to throw that comedy element in there too. So that's a good part fit in for like a Kevin Hart on the opposite end. The small guy that's always backpacking on the
Oh
rock.
Lord.
What's up, dudes?
So
Let's go.
hi,
I got
Gerald.
Podcasting with me, Justin.
so Gerald finally made it to Herndon, I see.
Yes. We just wanted to say hey, and we saw you broke the 15K, and I did bow down to Loy Sauce when he arrived.
I mean, as you should, sir. As you should.
Absolutely. Love you, brother.
Look how socially responsible they're being.
Oh, we're socially responsible. If you didn't know, this is all forced perspective. We're like 6 feet apart.
Oh,
Little
my.
Disney magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's why. I messed up my screen. I was like, wait, why? Oh, I had the chat open too. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything to add over there, Ken?
Nah, I think we topped it off. I won my Injustice movie. That's all. That's the takeaway
there
from
you
this.
go. If you're like, I gotta go out the winner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, like, give me that. Like, I mean, seriously, like, you have a movie that opened. Number one, I mean, especially. People really came around on Cavill's Superman. People really, really love Cavill's Superman now. I think a lot of people weren't as warm on him originally, but I think they really, really love him now. You open a movie with him ripping the heart out of Jared Leto's Joker, everybody would just fall in love with Zack Snyder forever,
Yeah.
probably.
And Leto being such an actor and acting for the sake of acting. Oh, my character gets to die? He would be down for it. He would have no qualms about it.
Yep. I love
But
it.
you know what you also could do? If you really want to double down on it, you could just pick somebody that everybody just naturally hates to be Lois Lane to die before then too.
Yeah, if
you
wanted
can't
to.
kill Amy Adams. Killing
Right,
Amy Adams
because
is
if you
going to be
kill her,
tough.
people will be mad, and that's technically how the movie opens right before. But if you just pick somebody just bad, just somebody that nobody likes, and you're like, okay, she's going to be Lois Lane, and people are like, why? Just be like, wait and see. And just literally 2 seconds, 2 seconds into the film, she's flown into space and dead. Then Jared Leto gets his heart ripped out, and so the first 5 minutes of this film could go down to be the most epic 5 minutes in movie history, and people will go see it.
I
I
say
need this
get
to happen.
a previous Lois Lane actress to portray that role, whether it's Rebecca Romaine from the DCAU or from Smallville, even.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities
Yeah.
that can go with it, but yeah, I think it's just perfect, especially right now with Cavill talking about coming back and whatever he's going to wind up doing if that does go through. And I mean, I'd love to see a Man of Steel too, personally, but
You know what Snyder needs to do? He needs to collect Affleck and Cavill and Leto, and he needs to guerrilla style just randomly shoot it, and then just release just shoot that opening scene of Batman trying to stop Superman from killing the Joker. That's the only thing you need. Release that online guerrilla style, like Ryan Reynolds did for Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Guaranteed that gets financing.
oh my God, yes, that needs to happen.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, because right there, though, this needs to happen. You got to put the karma out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sad because that movie doesn't already exist.
Yeah, yet. But as soon as this Snyder cut comes to HBO Max, the numbers are good. I think Warner Brothers might look into it.
Might.
Fingers
Maybe.
crossed.
Hopefully.
Well, also, let's be honest. If they're with the money that they're spending for HBO Max, with the $20 million to reshoot the shots missing, you never know. They might be willing to put something together and do their own Injustice movie on the side, just for HBO Max.
Let them do it.
I mean, they're putting real money out there to do stuff. I mean,
GL's getting on and put up on there.
yeah. Also, you have their deal with Bad Robot. So I mean, they're spending a lot of money on that HBO Max side to be the king of stream.
Yeah.
Who wins? We do, because we get to watch all the stuff that they put out there. So
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that's a very good possibility. They're looking for content. It's a great avenue to go in content. And then you don't have to worry about if Ben Affleck signs on to work for the DC movies again. He's just signing on to work for that Warner Media side of it, not to take over for Robert Pattinson or whoever it should be if they decide to make the movie way down the road.
I still think they keep them separate. They're gonna let everybody do their own thing. They're not gonna try copying Marvel, which is a smart thing.
I agree.
Yeah,
Right, but
that
if
was
you
what
do-
got
if
him
you
into
do
trouble
that,
in
it
the
can be
first
separate.
place.
What's
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what got him into trouble in the first place.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, also it's because they expedited it. Like Marvel had the wherewithal to do. We're going to do the slow build.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's going to be like, okay, so we go and take the slow build in and we build the characters, and then over 10 years you do it. DC went, okay, we're going to just throw everything in. Like 3 years in, let's do the big movie together, and it was like kind of rushed.
Yeah, it was.
I kind of compare that to when Sony was making Spider-Man films. They always wanted to rush into a Sinister Six film. And that's why those films ended up failing, because they get to 2-3 movies in and people are like, well, why are you rushing? And they're like, Sinister Six, Sinister Six, Sinister Six. And that's why we've still never gotten it, because they couldn't get to that next movie because they tried to rush everything. If you would have slow build, we would be in a different spot. Now, mind you, I'm a big fan of the Tom Holland versions of Spider-Man myself, but we would have possibly been there sooner, even with Andrew Garfield, or even before with Tobey Maguire, if they would have just slowed down, especially with the Tobey Maguire thing, because as we know, Sam Raimi wanted to make 3 completely different than what it was. So if they make that movie different, there could have been a 4th, and with the 4th you would have gotten your Sinister Six. But Sony was just like, we're going to do this, there you go, and we're back at square one. And I think DC did the same playbook. You got to do a slow roll. People want to see a slow roll now.
I still contend that that Batman versus Superman, if you just take Batman out of the movie, love Batfleck though I do, it's legitimately a perfect Man of Steel sequel, and it's an absolutely excellent movie.
Yep.
Yeah, because right then and there, you take the Dark Knight Returns part out of the movie, and you just let it be the death of Superman, which sells itself.
Which, here's the thing: if you take that out, then you can also make a Dark Knight Returns Batman movie.
Exactly.
Anyways, because I think Affleck is that was my biggest thing about Affleck. I love Affleck as Batman because I'm a big fan of the Dark Knight version of Batman, and Batman is just, he is great. He is the Dark Knight version. I mean, yeah, they took out some of the other stuff that's in the actual script, but the canon for comics. But at the same point in juncture, you still get that feeling of the grizzled vet that's tired of everybody's crap, and that's the Batman you need. I've come around a lot more on Batman v Superman. I find it more entertaining than I originally did. I think a lot of people judge hard on the movie, myself included, because if you wait a month after that movie in real time, we got a way better crossover movie with Civil War. So then you see Marvel go out and do hero versus hero, whereas DC did it, and I mean the big takeaway was the cheesy Martha. Why'd you say Martha? Like that was the whole like cheesiness that people took away from it.
This is still the strangest screenwriting decision ever.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Once the safe word kicks in, everybody's fine.
It's just like Justice League. When you finally hit Justice League, not the Snyder Cut, but the version we got, when you hit that, the only cool throwback that I said to that, which is leads out of Batman v Superman, is the part where he remembers, like, oh, I remember, do you bleed? And it's just like amazing to see Superman just badass be like, do you bleed? Like it's one of those moments where like everything else is forgotten but that moment, and you're like, okay, well, I dug that. That was badass. Why wasn't there more of that? So hopefully the Snyder Cut gives you more of that. But yeah, I agree. I think that really they should have done 2 separate films. They should have done Man of Steel's 2, and continued that route, and then on the other end done an introduction to Dark Knight movie before you mix the 2 of them together. Like, I think that would have been great to see Jeremy Irons a little more as Alfred.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool to have him as a badass. And I also like the fact that Ben Affleck looks like Batman. Like, he has the jawline of what we know as Batman, especially Dark Knight version.
Yeah, absolutely. My God. I just want that Injustice movie.
See?
Do we need to give you a hug when we're allowed to? I mean, you're just
Probably.
wallowing in this right now.
Probably. When the live stream for The Cure is over, I'm pretty sure I'm probably just going to pull up YouTube and start watching because they've cut together, like people have cut together all the cutscenes from Injustice and Injustice 2 into movies. So I just pop that on the old TV and just like pass out.
I was just watching that with the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, and let me tell you, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play a lot of Mortal Kombat anymore, but just the cutscenes and to get Cary Tagawa actually from the Mortal Kombat movie from 20 years ago to reprise his role, and they mocapped him as Shang Tsung, the whole facial structure, it really makes it so much more real.
Yeah.
And it looks good, too. It sounds exactly the same. I mean, oh, God, yeah.
That's amazing.
Hopefully they can inspire a different movie for that one.
Yeah.
Well, they have the movie in process right now. Well, I mean, obviously everything's stopped now, but they have the Mortal Kombat movie that will be coming out, the new live action one that is rated R and does promise to have fatalities and everything in it as well. So they're not watering it down to make it more of a family friendly event.
No underground tunnels.
No, not to
And
be
weird gyroscopes and robot four-armed monsters.
and bad CGI.
Oh my lord. You gentlemen are wonderful. I can't thank you enough for closing out the live stream for the Cure as our final guest on the air and everything. Can you guys take a couple of moments and run around the horn again and just let us know where we can find all of your shows out there on the web?
Sure. You can find the ODPH on OchoDuroParlayHour.com. We're on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, any major podcatcher you can find. And Nick, I just can't say thank you enough for letting us come on and do this. This topic is very close to my heart because I lost my dad to cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the name of Ocho Duro is actually a little nod to him because he was an avid craps player. So anything we can do to help support cancer and kick its ass. And I mean, thank you to everybody who's given their time and resources this weekend is meant the absolute world. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I can shadow that. Well, I'll say, because we'll start with that moment too. Actually, I also lost my father to cancer, so it was also an honor for me to be here as well. Pay respects to that as well. Also, my grandmother is a now 3-time survivor of breast cancer.
How about that?
Hell yeah. That's a thing to be happy about. So I'm more than happy personally to be a part of this, and we'll be a part of any of this for you guys. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
But to find us entertainment wise, man, I joke that I am probably the hardest working man in indie podcasting that makes zero money. Because let's be honest, we have the on the Three Fat Nerds podcast network. Just type Three Fat Nerds into any podcatcher. That's where we're at. We have the flagship show, which is the 3FN show. We also have the wrestling show that I do with Ken M. Every week we do a wrestling show talking about the world of pro wrestling, and then the 3FN show is basically everything about movies, TV, comic books, gaming, a little bit of D&D stuff, all sorts of great stuff on there. Of course, we have a lot of fun and make a lot of jokes. Then on a separate channel, we have Horror Zone 607. I'm the co-host on that, and I also produce that, and that's all for horror fans. So just type in Horror Zone 607 anywhere, and you can find that. And of course, all the links are also on 8122productions.com. That's the easiest place to find it. And of course, you can join me and Ken now as we've started doing a little bit of live streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/607 podcast. I got to make sure that's getting out there everywhere. We will be live streams for wrestling fans. We will be live streaming next Sunday during NXT TakeOver in your house. So I get a little plug out there for any wrestling fans. And of course, Tom, he's got the laundry list as well.
Oh, I only have a bit of it. I mean, you've got a honey-do list. I just have a laundry list. So you can find me at youtube.com/offthecuffgaming. I feature, like I said, it's a complete react channel. When I'm playing my video games, I play it live, unedited, uncut, unscripted. So when there's a reaction, because we were talking Final Fantasy, right now I'm playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And let me tell you, I am slowly working through those 13 chapters, savoring every single moment of that beautiful, beautiful game. But anytime if I put down the game, I do not play it again until I go live again. So I'm never apprised of what's going to happen. I'm never going to know what happens. I also am a staff writer with that#show.com, specializing in Power Rangers and retro writing. So you can definitely check me out on there at that#show.com. Again, it's youtube.com/offthecuffgaming. On occasion, I'll hang out with Ken, be on his show. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship right here as well. Yes. And anything you guys need me to do, I'll be more than happy to join in. And to make it a three-peat, I also did lose my dad to cancer 20 years ago from lung cancer. And I had an aunt who passed away from a very obscure case of brain cancer. So this is all for them. And Absolutely. Thank you for having us all in here. Ken, thank you for inviting us
thank you guys for doing this with me.
Support everybody here in the 607. So thank you all so very much, everybody. Again, also, if you want for fun, you can also, there's the Facebook Off the Cuff Gaming too. I just thought of that. Yeah, it's all Off the Cuff Gaming. Damn it.
You gentlemen are wonderful.
Swag too.
Thank you very much for just an absolute wonderful conversation. A good stuff. Now I just want that Injustice movie. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much again for making the time to be here to close out the event as our final guest. Thank you very much for purchasing the merch. I know that Ken got you guys all the travel mugs and everything like that. Love seeing that logo literally anywhere that I possibly can. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. It's a wait, is it? Yeah, it's a typical Southern Tier day outside. It looks like so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks beautiful, but it's ice cold.
Yeah.
Wow. Who knows? Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for being
Yes.
here.
Thank
Too.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.